Hi guys, so today we have our quiz on multiplying and dividing scientific notation and using negative exponents, but I was going through the review sheet and I noticed some problems that a few of you got wrong, so I wanted to go over them before you had your quiz just so you have complete understanding. So let's take a look at a few of them. So here we have multiplying scientific notation. So we have 4 times 10 to the 5th times 5 times 10 to the negative 3. So if you remember, you want to multiply the first number, so 4 times 5, which is 20. And then we have times 10, so we're going to keep that same base number. Now, because you're multiplying, you're adding the exponents. So 5 plus negative 3, which means the same as 5 minus 3. And my daughter Leon is here. You want to say hi?
Hi.
So what's the same as 5 minus 3? What's 5 minus 3?
2.
2. So we have 20 times 10 to the second. But that's not proper scientific notation because you only want one number in front of the decimal. Right now, 20, there's 2 numbers because your decimal's right here. So remember, we want to use that word LARS, which is left add, right subtract. So because we're moving the decimal once to the left, we want to add to that exponent. So we should now have 2.0 or 2 times 10. So because we moved it once, to the third. And that should be your answer, 2 times 10 to the third. Okay, now for this one, we want to multiply the first two, 5 times 5, which is 25. And then we have times 10, we want to add 6 plus 7. You want to do what 6 plus 7 is?
13.
13, good job. So we have 25 times 10 to the 13th, but once again, not in proper scientific notation. You want proper. So we want to move it one time to the left. So 2.5 times 10. Now we moved it once to the left, so we're going to left add. So 13 plus that 1 would be 2.5 times 10 to the 14th. Okay? Then we have on the bottom here, we have 9.4 times 10 to the 6th times 3.2 times 10 to the 5th. So we want to multiply those first two numbers, which would be 30.08. And then we have times 10. Do you know what 6 plus 5, Leon, is?
11.
11. Good job. Times the 11th. But still, that's not in proper scientific notation. We want to move it once to the left. So we now have 3.008 times 10 to the 12th. Okay, and that's our answer. So you'll always want that proper scientific notation at the end. Okay, let's take a look at some dividing scientific notation. So here we have 5.2 times 10 to the 13th divided by 1.3 times 10 to the 7th. Now because we're dividing, we want to divide those two. So 5.2 divided by 1.3, which would be 4 in this case. And we have times 10. Now because we're dividing, now we want to subtract those exponents. So we have 13 minus 7. So what is 13 minus 7?
7.
Close. 13 minus 7 is 6.
6.
It's 6. So we have 4 times 10 to the 6th. And that is improper scientific notation because there's 1 right in front of the decimal. Okay? What about the next one? Here we have 6.9 divided by 2.3. So we could divide these two. And we have 3 times 10. Now we want to subtract these. So we have 7 minus negative 3. Now because there's 2 negatives, they become a positive. So 7 plus 3 is 10. And that is improper scientific notation because there's only one number in front of the decimal. So we can keep it that way. Okay? Next one here, we have 20 times 10 to the 50th divided by 4 times 10 to the 15th. So let's see. I'll move it up a little bit so we could see. Okay, so 20 divided by 4 is 5 times 10. We want to subtract. So 50 minus 15 would be 35. So 5 times 10, to the 35. Okay, so that's how we can work with multiplying or dividing scientific notation. So the other topic that's on today's quiz is negative exponents. Okay, so here are some of the questions that we got wrong for negative exponents. So I'm going to go over how to do those. So the first one was 5 to the negative 2. So remember, if anything's a negative exponent, that means it becomes a denominator, okay? So 5 times, oops, I'm gonna move that up. 5 to the negative 2 power means that the 5 to the second power becomes a denominator. Now I saw what a lot of you did was you actually just kept it in that form, but you actually want to simplify it to its lowest that you can, that you know of. So we can figure out what 5 to the second power is easily, because 5 to the second power means 5 times 5. So that's the same as 1 over 25. And that's our answer. So it wants its simplest form. Oops, 1 over 25. Okay, what about the next one here? We have negative 8 to the negative 2. Once again, a negative exponent. That means it becomes a denominator. So we have 1 over negative 8 to the second. Because remember, when it comes to the denominator, that negative exponent goes away. So we have 1 over negative 8 times negative 8. So negative 8 times negative 8 would be positive 64. So your answer would be 1 over 64. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Here we have 3 to the negative 4. So once again, it becomes a denominator and that negative goes away. So we want to solve it to its lowest form. So we have 1 and we have 3 to the 4th power, which was 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 81. Okay, so we have 1 over 81. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Here's a little bit of a longer problem. So we have 2 to the negative 3 times 2 to the negative 4. So this is actually a math problem. So we have 1 over 2 to the 3rd, right? Because that becomes a denominator, times 1 over 2 to the 4th. Okay, so let's solve that. So 2 to the 3rd is 2 times 2, which is 4, and 4 times 2, which is 8. So that's 1 over 8 times 1 over 2 to the 4th, which is 16. So we could just always say 1, well, we could do 8 times 16. Well, let's see what 8 times 16 is, which is 1 over 128. Okay, we want to simplify it as low as we can. And the last one we want to go over that most people got, or some people got wrong, was where it said rewrite 1 over 125. So we know because it's a denominator, that means it is a negative exponent. Okay, so we know it's some number to get to 125. So does anyone know what number we could do to get to 125? So that would actually be a base of 5 and a exponent of negative 3, because it became 5 over 3 on the bottom, and 5 to the 3rd power is 125. Okay, so I hope that cleared some up for you. Remember, you can use your notes on today's quiz. Take your time and make sure to go back and rewatch this video if you have any questions. Good luck.